We are 100 days from the NFL season. 100 days from the NFL season, which means we are 100 days to our team playing. And Lions are at OTAs again. I think it's today and tomorrow. And then they have they've got a couple of more OTA dates. And then mandatory minicamp is June 12th through the 14th. 100 days out, man, which is pretty exciting. They're closer to their next game than they are from their last game. Yep. It feels so different. It feels so different this time around, doesn't it?
It does feel different. I mean, there's an air of confidence right now about this team. There's an expectation. It's a good expectation. It's not like, oh, you've sucked for so long, you better start winning games. Mm-hmm. It's not that attitude. It's, oh, no, you're a good team. You should win the division. Go win the division.
Yep.
And then host a playoff game, and we can't wait to host a playoff game. Win that. And good God, are you going to be playing for something special? I mean, that's where you're leading your head goes to, right?
Yep.
The minicamp, the OTAs just took place. You want to hear about the young players coming to this team, the rookies they just drafted, the free agents that have come here, and you start sizing your team up against everybody else. And then you have the news like Friday, what comes out with DeAndre Hopkins being released. Does it make sense for the Lions to go after? And I think most people will say it makes sense. There's a little bit of a risk. Do you want to bring him in here? And how much is it going to cost and all that? But it does seem to make a ton of sense to bring him in. The question I ask myself is, how many players like DeAndre Hopkins are going to become available before the regular season starts? And would it happen at a position that maybe you feel more comfortable with going after, like a defensive tackle, for instance, or even a backup quarterback?
I mean, there's absolutely going to be players like Hopkins that become available. They're unpredictable. And the Lions have war-chested. And there's some talk that the Lions could get involved here, but they don't seem like a problem. Was it Chiefs and Bills? But there's cap issues there, and we'll see what happens. I like the way they're positioned, that they can get aggressive if they want to go after somebody. And every time we bring this up, I invariably get the ticket text, and they've probably already come over. Unless D-Hop can rush the passer, I'm not interested.
Well,
okay, fine.
Lions can rush the passer.
They have potential to have answered all of those questions. The potential is there that they have answered all those questions.
Yeah, what I think you can make a strong argument now that if you were to add one position to this team right now, because now the new variable is that Jameson Williamson is out for the first 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to add one position to this team that would help this team out the most, where would it be? Is it defensive tackle? Or you could make the argument that it is wide receiver.
You could now.
And it's you've got this gap of having a special receiver there now for the first 6 weeks, which is what we're expecting Jameson Williams to be. Again, there's the word expectation. So if you were to get DeAndre Hopkins, who is a stud wide receiver, for the first 6 weeks of the season, that looks great. After that, it looks even better, because the guy or the player that you would imagine who maybe gets less reps at that point, it's not Hopkins, it's not J-Mo, it's not Amon St. Brown. You're probably looking down the road of, Marv Jones or Josh Reynolds or Khalif Raymond, right?
Yep.
So the thought of having a wide receiver core out there for the second half of the season that has Amon St. Brown in the slot, Jameson Williams, and DeAndre Hopkins on the outside looks great, with Laporta at tight end. You want to go 4 receiver set, then you bring in Marv Jones or whatever you want to do. Or Jahmyr Gibbs, you want to line him up in a slot as well. There's a lot that they could do if they had another stud, and he is a stud, wide receiver like DeAndre Hopkins.